Y'all drink this stuff? This gets me going for real. I'm not sponsored by 5 Hour Energy. I live on caffeine. So, what's up, guys? David Mazzei Formula. Thanks for watching my channel. I appreciate everybody checking out my recent videos. I didn't think they were going to blow up like that. And thanks for all the comments. I mean, some of the comments are hilarious. And, I mean, they're all great. Thanks for all the positive comments. The negative ones, I look at it this way: all publicity is good publicity. So I appreciate it, and thanks a lot, for the feedback. And we're gonna come out with some more videos, some more content. I'm hoping to get this thing on the dyno next week. I'm gonna be going to Speed South and hanging out with Cameron Musgrove and Brian Leonard. Wait till you meet those guys. They're crazy. Some great friends of mine. And Grant Snyder is going to be there. He also has an RX7. We're going to be reviewing his car soon. It's just going to be fun, man. So we're going to basically throw this thing on the dyno and retune it. And so today, well, not retune it, but just basically touch the tune up, because we've added water methanol injection and some new coils, and we've upgraded the wastegate springs, moved up to 14 psi. So we're going to run about 14 to 16 pounds of boost on this thing, up the dwell on these ignition coils, running some water methanol injection, and we're going to have to lean it back out to compensate for that water meth. And so today I'm just basically getting this thing ready. I want to kind of walk you guys through what it takes to prep a car for the dyno, what you should do before you're ready to tune. First of all, I want to thank Paul from Mosmart, awesome guy, and gave me a hookup on these spark plugs. Great deal. So give him a call if you're looking for good plugs. These are the expensive bad boys right here, R7420. They're resistor plugs. They're the perfect reach, perfect length, and 10, which is the heat range that we want to run for about 14-15 pounds of boost. And then you've got the B10 EGVs, which just kind of a backup set. They're decent. They're copper plugs, and we'll throw these in if these ever get fouled for any reason. Basically right now I'm going to be changing the coolant on the car, just because it's winter time and I have just pure water in there. I need to swap that out. I've got some coolant over here, so I'm going to run like 50-50 water and coolant, so this thing doesn't, crack in the winter time, because it is kind of getting cold out here. And 20W50 oil. A lot of people are like, oh, you got to use this, you got to use that, you need synthetic, or you need this fancy stuff. Like, just get any oil you can afford. All right, I know that sounds a little bit ridiculous. You're like, oh, it's a 4-rotor, it's a rotary, whatever, you got to have something special. Nah, look, here's the thing. Rotaries saturate the oil with fuel over time, okay, because they run so rich, and that gasoline that gets in your oil starts to thin it out. So honestly, I change the oil every 1,000 miles just for the hell of it, just to be safe. And so why do you need some fancy oil that's like, $10 a quart, when you can get, just basic stuff that works good? Because you're going to be changing it so frequently that it's a waste of time to use some high, special racing synthetic. So in my opinion, 20W50 does the job, gets the oil pressure where it needs to be. It's already kind of thick, so it's not going to break down so bad when you start to dilute it with the gasoline over time. I like to use the K&N oil filter. Works great for me. Little small, but does the job. And 50-50 boost juice going in the motor. Right now I've been using windshield washer fluid, but I think this will be fine. So that'll add a little bit more methanol to the mixture. And so gonna get this thing up on jack stands, and we're gonna get to work. So appreciate it, guys. Thanks. So first thing we're gonna do is get it up in the air on jack stands, and let's get the other side. All right, so now that we got it up in the air, we're basically gonna start by removing the front splitter. That way we have access to the radiator and we can drain the coolant. And while we're down there, we'll go ahead and drain the oil. All right, so I removed the front splitter, and now we're draining the coolant. Obviously, you can take the cap off and it'll drain out faster, but if you leave the cap just kind of cracked, like you pop the seal on the cap, but just leave it kind of cracked, you can kind of control the flow by taking it on and off, and it just doesn't blow out all over the floor. But yeah, so I'm going to drain a little bit of the coolant out. Just going to drain out about 1 liter of coolant and replace it with straight antifreeze. Alright, so filling it back up with coolant now. I've only drained about 1 liter, so I'm going to fill it back up with 1 liter. This stuff is pretty good. I mean, it's sort of like a water wetter, but it doesn't, like, water wetter kind of like puts this brown stuff in your coolant. I don't know why. It just makes the coolant like look nasty. And I like this better. It seems to do a good job. And I have noticed it runs a little bit cooler. So pour this in first, and then I'm going to add some coolant to the mix. So Now, my favorite thing about this electronic water pump setup is there's no thermostat. The water pump controls the flow, which is basically a thermostat, and you can turn it on. It basically bleeds the system for you, so we don't even have to start the car. Check it out. So it automatically turns on. The controller's back here, and you'll hear it run. So listen. You can hear it cycling, and we're bleeding right here. Alright, so we just finished draining the oil and changed the oil filter out, and now we're just filling it up with the Castrol GTX 20W50. Nice and slow. You can see here it fills directly on this iron. Alright, so now that we've got the oil filled up and we've changed the coolant, so we've changed the oil and the coolant, we're going to change the intercooler water, which is actually in this tank right here. So this holds the water that goes through the intake manifold, which actually has a water-to-air intercooler built into it. It's one of the big questions we keep getting asked is, you know, where's the intercooler? It's inside this manifold. So if you see, just add a little bit of this. The methanol keeps it from freezing. And basically just fill it up mostly with distilled water and just add a little bit of this. It is corrosive to aluminum, but you know, it's not going to be in there very long. So that's it. Then that water flows through this intake manifold, which cools down the motor. And there's a third heat exchanger in the bumper right here. Little tiny guy. Alright guys, so as you can see, these are all the plugs. Rotors 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're all roughly the same. No cracked porcelain. No white tips. Everything looks good. The leadings are consistent. The trailings are consistent. And there's just one right here, which is rotor number 2. It looks a little bit more fouled than the others. But, I mean, for the most part, it just tells me there's nothing significantly a problem anywhere. So, basically, we're going to throw some new plugs in. I've already got the first 3 rotors in. So, these are the plugs we got right here. GK race plugs, R7420. Again, 10 is the heat range we want to run because we're sticking around 14-15 pounds of boost. Heat range is basically just how much heat the plug retains. You can see how much cleaner these plugs are. So there you go. So anyways, we're going to throw these in. And we're going to see how it runs next week. So, you know, you always want to use a little bit of anti-seize on your threads, you know, and that way you never have to worry about the plug seizing in your engine block. That would really suck. And then on the back side of the plug, once you get them in, you want to put a little bit of dielectric grease so that you can seal your electrical connector, and the spark doesn't try to arc anywhere else. So that's it. I'm going to throw the last plugs in, and then we're going to move on to the methanol nozzle. This is a 14 gallon per hour. We're going to go up to a 25 gallon per hour. So I'm going to take this out, and we'll go from there. Thanks. Right now, I've taken out the methanol injector nozzle, which goes right here in this charge pipe, and I've added an extension line out of the check valve. You can see it right here. This is the nozzle, and put a little jump wire on the pump in the back, and so I'm going to be able to trigger it off of a relay here. So we'll just flip this switch, and we should be able to watch the spray pattern right here. So you can see right there, that's 14 gallons per hour right there, spraying full blast. So you know, that's basically going inside your intake, and this gets staged at about 8 pounds of boost, and that's it right there. So now we're going to upgrade this to a 25 gallon per hour nozzle, and we're going to check it out and see if the spray pattern's any bigger, which it should be. So just leave that right there and flip this relay off. And now we have the M25 gallon per hour nozzle installed, and we need to spray out the rest of this tank, so we'll do it on video. So flip on the battery and hit the switch. Let's see what we got. Yeah, that's a much bigger stream. That's a ton right there, baby. All right, so that's it. We got it all back together and we're finished. What's up, man? How's it going, dude?
Man, doing well.
How you doing, man?
You good?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Pretty good.
Y'all got the 370 out here?
350.
Oh, 350.
Yeah.
Driving it in the snow, dude.
Oh, I drove it this morning. Yeah.
Were you sliding all over the road? Did you get new wheels?
Huh?
You get new wheels?
I've had them. I had my stock ones too, but those are in storage.
Looks good, man.
Dang, I should have bought my Subi too.
It's cold out here, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Just putting things together, getting it ready for a team, man. So, making some YouTube videos. Just want to get it done. So, now I have the wastegate dump tubes off. I've already done the first wastegate, and this is the second wastegate. So basically, you take the wastegate off, and you've got two springs in here, an inner, a middle, and the new outer. So if we stack these all together, we have about 19-20 pounds of boost, but we're going to use the boost controller to climb up to that. And what I'm going to do is take this middle spring out and run two 7 psi outer springs for a total of approximately 14 psi. That's it right there. So I want to thank Walker Morgan Performance Fabrication for doing the beautiful job on these dump tubes and the exhaust manifold that sounds so great. And so I'm going to get this back on the car, and then hopefully it's time to fire it up, clean it up real quick, fire it up, warm it up, and then I'll turn the camera back on and we'll do a quick fire up once it's warm and give it a rev, check for leaks, stuff like that, and we're done. So thanks a lot. Alright, fired it up, checking for leaks, everything looks good.